Department of Transportation is taking extreme action to protect you by slowing down speeding drivers out there on the roads.
This comes after multiple, sometimes deadly pedestrian crashes in Decatur. Atlanta News First's Don Shipman is in the First Alert Breaking News Tracker this morning, getting a sense of what it's like along the streets that we're talking about here. Don, good morning.
Good morning to both of you. And one of the things I'm learning right away, we've been out here, by the way, since just about 4 o'clock this morning, and we've noticed a lot of pedestrians at this hour. Many of them, obviously, runners this morning. And one of the things I've noticed, too, is that many of them are wearing reflective gear, which is a good thing. Right now, we are on College Ave, and this is one of the streets in question. I want you to take a look right here. And you can see that already there is a little bit of traffic at this hour. We're coming up on a pedestrian crosswalk right here. This is something that concerns authorities in this area, making sure that those pedestrians are safe. This street also has Agnes Scott College right around the corner here. There's also Beacon Hill Middle School. So a lot of pedestrians. Other streets that GDOT is evaluating, according to our partners at Decatur-ish, are Scott Boulevard, South Chandler Street, or Candler Street that is, and Claremont Avenue. Now, since last November alone, 7 people have been hit by cars near downtown Decatur. One person, a 16-year-old, was killed. Atlanta News First chopper over the site of that deadly pedestrian accident right there on November 6th. In all, 4 people were hit in that crash at the intersection of East College Avenue and Commerce Drive. Now, people who live and work in this area say that speeding drivers has been a long-standing problem.
Well, yeah, it's a high speed going through here, going straight. The lights, they should have a better intersection, I think.
Now, GDOT is also considering changes to pedestrian crosswalks. We're at a pedestrian crosswalk in question right here. This is at the intersection of College Ave and Candler. There's talk of installing a pedestrian scramble here. So basically all vehicle movement would be stopped. That way pedestrians can cross all at the same time. They could cross diagonally. Now, at this point, no timetable on exactly when all of these changes might go into effect, but the evaluation phase, that is in full force right now. We're live here in the First Alert Tracker. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.